our next topic, again, in the world of DC, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, early reactions are out. And don't worry, guys, they're positive, which is good. That means that's a good thing for the DCU. We want to keep things fresh. We want to keep things new. We want to keep things in a happy, forward direction. My biggest fear, honestly, with seeing, like, some of the trailers, I was like, ooh, this looks really good. And then some of the trailers, I was like, now I'm kind of meh. And then I saw the international trailer, I'm like, oh, that looks really good again. So then I was kind of worried, like, we're going to go into the movie and either get an inconsistent product or one that just doesn't match up with the actual trailer. But what are the reactions saying?
Well, I think part of that also, I would like to just add on to, could be also to the marketing of this movie, which I myself have pretty much loved every trailer, but I could see why maybe some of the trailers have leaned maybe too much into the comedy for some people. Some people didn't dig the first Shazam film. It was too lighthearted. It was too family-oriented. And
Right.
I can understand if you're looking for more of a Punisher movie, but Shazam, Fury of the Gods, reactions. Here we go. So, and this is just the online social media reactions. They don't have full reviews out quite
Right, they're
yet.
lifting the social media reaction embargo, but not like the review embargo.
Do you, by chance, know when the movie review embargo lifts?
I have no idea, no.
But here we are. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, a fun-filled adventure that's a solid follow-up to the first film. There's plenty of humor, action, and heart, and it's always a treat to see the family together again. I wish the movie was longer since there are a lot of characters. Another one says, a fun-filled adventure that's a solid follow-up. Nope, that's the same one. Sorry about that, guys. A super fun and worthy sequel. Not a game-changing comic book movie, but it wins you over with its characters and energy. Has some real surprises and a knowing sensibility that suit it well. Plus, some creative and exciting monster action. Another one is the most fun I've had at the movies, filled with comedic charm and heart. A lot of people saying heart-filled movie. There's a lot to love about the family. More about the family. Praising Lucy Liu, Helen Mirren, Rachel Zegler are a force to be reckoned with and a joy to watch. So everybody is really praising the film, including
and
the cast, and as well as James Gunn. So hopefully this will continue when the review embargo lifts. Since we can only go off of the social media reactions and we don't have the movie review embargo lifted yet, all we get is just a few sentences and they can't really go into details. But it sounds like the cast is awesome. Sounds like there's a lot of heart in this movie, which if you didn't dig in the first movie, you might not like it in this one. But since I absolutely loved it, that sounds like it's a solid sequel. Sounds like it's repeating a lot of the same things that I loved about the first movie while taking the action up a notch. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of good monster action, which makes me a little, excited, but it's also a comic book movie, so I don't necessarily know how to feel about it, but it is Shazam. That being said, the budget is bigger, the suits are better, you're getting the cast all back together, and I am super excited.
For me, I'm really excited, and especially because, the trailers showed really strong villains, which you don't always see in comic book movies, and these ladies look like they're bringing it. So I'm pretty excited for that. Not only that, I really did like the family aspect of the first Shazam movie, especially because, you have this kid who was a foster kid and didn't really want to be part of a foster family. And then when he found out he was really unwanted by his mom, then they really truly became a family. And that was one of the best things about that movie.
Absolutely.
So seeing the way the family has progressed and seeing how they've moved forward, I'm excited to see. And, to see the consequences of giving all of the siblings powers. Because usually when things happen like that, when you give, there's take, right?
Right.
So we have to see what kind of karmic justice, if you will, is going to come into this. What kind of debt has to be paid. And I'm honestly a little curious, like, with what you said about the monster thing. I'm like, I know there's a dragon, but...
Is there anything else?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I'm like, how much wackier can you get than a dragon? Like,
Probably
what are we
not.
adding in here?
Probably not, but you never know.
And I mean, I'm always gonna say this. Any movie that keeps using Eminem in their trailers and stuff and in their music, can we please just have like an Eminem cameo just somewhere?
Just
Like,
yeah, in one of
have
these
him,
comic
like,
book movies, please.
just have him like maybe he's running a hot dog stand and like somebody zooms by and knocks over the hot dog stand.
Spaghetti truck.
Oh, you know what? I totally missed an opportunity there. So you're right. Like walking back to the spaghetti truck with his coffee, and then the spaghetti truck gets wiped out before he can say what the, and then it just moves away from him. Like I would die.
That would be awesome. He's a big comic book fan. He's had music in Venom movies. He's
Yeah,
had
exactly.
his-
I'm like,
in the
please,
Shazam trailers.
like please, just invite him. Just get Marshall Mathers on the phone.
Hey,
Just
maybe
ask him.
James Gunn will hear this and because he listens to the show, obviously. And
Right.
he is
Big fan.
going to put it in Superman Legacy. Because if you didn't know, Eminem has a song called Superman. And obviously, that is the beginning, stepping stones, the Easter eggs of the greater DCU.
Can you imagine if they low key made Eminem kind of like a character in the DCU,
Same.
but just as himself?
Lex Luthor.
Oh my god!
Going back to
Oh
Lex
my
Luthor.
god!
Everybody can play Lex Luthor.
If he shaves his head, if he's bald, he's perfect.
He's pretty much already there. He's got a buzz cut. So
Right, just bleach
just
it. Then we
another
won't be able to
quarter
see your
inch.
hair. But I mean,
Well-
for me, with the early reactions, getting away from the goofiness, the early reactions for me, like, it does make me feel really positive about the movie because the trailers look like a lot of fun. So if this movie is a lot of fun and just elevates it, then I hope that if this movie does well, we get to see more of it. That they get at least a trilogy, a solid trilogy.
And that's the thing that I'm glad you brought that up, because David F. Sandberg said it online last week. We covered it here on the channel where he was asked by a fan, look, James, we don't have any interest in going to see your movie because we know it's not leading to anything. We know Superman's not going to show up in the post-credit scene, and if he does, and it is Henry Cavill, it's not going to go anywhere. So, and we just don't know with all the drama, so it's just kind of dampering my excitement. And for David F. Sandberg, who, this film has gotten delayed, and then it got moved up 6 months while all the other DCEU movies got delayed, and then it got pushed back another 3 months. And so the guy is probably extremely frustrated. I'm sure the whole cast just wants the movie to be out already. Meanwhile, they're being told by all of their fans that, hey, we're not going to support your movie because we don't think it's going to get a third one. And he says, of course it's not going to get a third one if no one goes see it. So if there are any Shazam fans out there, I'm not saying everybody needs to go see this movie. You owe it to David F. Sandberg. But if you loved the first one, or even if you enjoyed it and liked it, and you think that there's hope for a third movie, or you think that Zachary Levi should continue on as Shazam in the DCU despite Henry Cavill not being there, then I would say go and see this movie. If you like the trailers and you got the money and time, then definitely go see it. And I hope that we will be able to as well.
Right.
Hopefully opening night or at least opening weekend. But either
Right.
way, super excited. And
I do feel bad for all of these movies that are coming out that are technically like on the borderline of DCU or DCEU after the James Gunn stuff, because it's like you're not really saying that these movies don't count, but you're also saying these movies don't count.
Right.
So people are kind of seeing it as pointless. And I feel bad because these filmmakers and everyone that worked on the movie have worked so hard on it and have put so much effort into it just for it to basically come down to a mulligan. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you can't do that to these guys. If you want any future of any of these franchises like Shazam, The Flash, Blue Beetle, or Aquaman to continue on, there has to be some sort of support. And unfortunately, the only support they want
is money.
is financial.
Give us your money.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, pretty much. So, I mean, yeah, I would agree with you. Just if you like Shazam or any of these characters that are moving forward, consider seeing the movie in theaters. Just not only support your local theater, but also support these filmmakers that are really just getting it handed to them because they have no idea what their future is, and neither do we.
Right. And not only that, but if you're a fan of the DCEU, or if you're a fan of the Snyderverse, or if you're a fan of some of those movies, don't you kind of want to see like how it ends? Because
Right.
even I'm on the side of believing that even if Zachary Levi does continue on as Shazam or Jason Momoa as Aquaman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, that those films that they were in are not going to, on any sort of major level, tie into what James Gunn has in store for his universe. And I think, like he said, Shazam and the Fury of the Gods does not impact the future of the DCU for one way or another. That was confirmed. So it killed a lot of people's excitement, rightfully so. But don't you at least want to see what David F. Sandberg had to work on? Because if this film came out, before the MCU and was just a standalone trilogy, I'm sure there would be a lot less conversations like this happening where,
Yeah,
oh, well, is
exactly.
it going to be part of a shared cinematic universe or not? Well, does it matter if it's a good movie? No,
Right.
it doesn't. And I didn't need a headless Superman cameo at the end of the first Shazam movie for me to already love that movie. It was icing on the top, icing on the what?
Icing on the top of the cake.
Who cares? But another kind of unfortunate thing, like you said, about these movies, Shazam and the Fury of the Gods, Aquaman and Lost Kingdom, The Flash, Blue Beetle, is that they are in that era where they're so far removed from anything Zack Snyder, really, but they're also not really a part of what James Gunn has going forward that we know of, at least this point. That's because they're Walter Hamada films. They're Walter Hamada era DCEU films that just got delayed. It was part of his era and their plan originally, the AT&T Warner Brothers plan to kind of reboot the DCEU after Flash. And sounds like James Gunn and Peter Safran are like already planning on rebooting it, just probably a different way.
Right.
And so it sounds like they're just kind of like, hey, we got a little lucky, let's roll with it. And unfortunately, Shazam and the Fury of the Gods might suffer the consequences at the box office. But here's hoping that these early reviews are signs to a positive future for this movie.